everybody, welcome back to the world of me, and this is another episode of a Kiwi's Tinker Crate. Got a new box in today, but first off we have our friend Banjo over here joining us again, and let's go ahead and grab the box here. Obviously it's one of the standard Tinker Crate boxes, and something I think I forgot to mention on the previous one, but you could probably see it, is it does actually say what it is right there on the front. So we do know what this is. This is the Fiber Optic Stars kit, and go ahead and crack this open real quick. Alright, so here we go. We got a handful of different things here. Lots of pieces of cardboard and instruction pieces and things like that. We'll go ahead over. First things first, we do have another Tinker Zine here. Of course, the Tinker Zine gives you the basics on what the project is about, things that you can find out about it and everything like that. This one, of course, talking about constellations and everything. We're doing a fiber optics constellation type of thing. So you can kind of read through this with the kids and everything and kind of go over some ideas. It has some other kind of projects in here that you can do as well. Let's see, then we've got, we've got the Constellations card thing here, and as we open it up, it's got a couple different constellation designs in there.
That's the poke-out grid.
A poke-out grid? Okay. So I had a feeling that might be what it was, actually. There you go. See, it does tell you right here, like, what some of them are by color. So the colors sit there, but this is supposed to be what they look like in the night sky, I guess. And we can, of course, you know, if this is either the pattern or the poke-out pattern, whatever it is, you know, maybe we'll be following that here in a minute. We'll see that when we get into the instructions. We've got a piece of cardboard here, which looks like it's going to be the box that we end up building everything in. It's got a handful of different constellations and stuff like that. So we've got some of these little wires here. At least that's what they look like. They are short pieces of fiber optic cable. Of course, those are going to be what's going to create that star pattern. We've got the little electronic device here, which is going to be what gives us our light to make the constellations light up through the fiber optics. They gave us a couple of AA batteries. We've got a few little component pieces here. Looks like maybe some glue. There's a white crayon and a few other little things in there that we'll get into as we're building. And it looks like we've got a couple pieces of dark foam that we're going to use probably as our punch throughs to put the fiber optics through. And then, of course, we've got our instruction set. And just like the last time, the front of it has kind of that blueprint look to it. Right here shows you what the basic design is. Looks like maybe we're going to take and use a couple of these. We can make a couple different designs with the black foam there, and we can pick out a couple different kinds of constellations that we want to use. It does show, of course, the different things that we're going to need. It does say that we're going to need a pair of scissors, of which we were smart enough to grab those first off this time, so we do have those with us, as well as, you know, all the other things that come in the package. It has some other information. This is kind of some information on how it's gone together and everything, maybe some minor adjustments and everything like that. It does say pull it all together, so that's some finishing touches, kind of like what was in the previous episode. Alright, so let's see what we've got going on here. We're going to go ahead and move some of these parts over here to the side so that we've got an idea on what we're doing. You know, I think first thing I'm seeing on here is something with the LED lighting. And, you know, that's going to be this component here. And let's go ahead and open that up. With this, it looks like you've got a couple of LED bulbs, you've got a resistor here, and then you've got your power unit. And, you know, it looks like it's a pretty straightforward kind of put together. You take the power unit, you plug it into one of the, let's see, yeah, you're going to actually take the resistor and plug it into the one end of the power unit, the red wire, according to what it's saying. Then it does say that there's supposed to be a jumper with a jumper wire. Alright guys, well, looks like there was a little bit of a mix-up when they sent stuff to us. There are supposed to be, the way this plugs together, as you can see, Now it does say to cut these wires down. I'm not real worried about it right now, and it's probably a good idea that we didn't. But as you can see, these plug in, and they're supposed to be a jumper, which is basically another wire that has these connections on either end, and it would plug onto this, and then the next one would plug onto one of the diodes there. But unfortunately, we don't have that, so we're going to improvise. And just kind of, this is one of those things where you learn to think on your feet. According to this, what you're going to do here is you're going to take and use the you take a look and you look at the diodes here, and the diodes are, one side is longer than the other. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but we got this side over here is longer than this, or shorter than this side over here. And according to the instructions here, the side that has the resistor is going to go onto the long side and just twist these together. Basically just like a twisty tie. It's not really going to hurt anything. I do work with electronics a lot, and something like this, for something very basic, is not going to create any kind of major difficulties or anything like that. Now we take the short wire, and it goes into the other side of the connector there. So there we go. So that's basically what it's going to look like. It would be a little bit longer. Obviously the black side is a little longer. That would be compensated if we would have had that jumper in there, but unfortunately we didn't have that. So again, it's just kind of, adjust for the circumstances and everything like that. Now what we can do is go ahead and pop these batteries out. And we'll go ahead and try that out. It shows the light coming on, and testing it out to make sure that it works, because a diode is only one directional. You can't put it on, you have to put it on a specific way because it goes according to the way the electricity flows. There we go. And we've got a working diode. So there we go. There's our light. And we've got a spare diode there for later on. And, just in case this one burns out or something like that, we can take this one and switch it out with the other one. So there we go. We got the first little part done. Like I said, do a little improvisation. All right, well, let's go ahead and set this part to the side. Go ahead and grab this next part. Now, there's folding instructions here to show you how to fold the cardboard all up. Now, Banjo here is going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and kind of guide him here on how to get this all folded. Okay, there we go. Now he's got it all folded up there so that the tabs are there. And then there are two little pieces here. See, there's or one more piece, I guess, right there. And that's going to be something where it lines up with the with that. Now, for that, I believe that's where we start getting into this part. We're going to need these little pads here to stick that in there. This is basically just double-sided foam tape. Alright, so again, because this didn't have that extension piece, we kind of modified the way we put it in there. I wanted to keep all these wires laying flat so they didn't touch each other or anything like that and create a short circuit. So we went ahead and used the one in the same place that it kind of shows on the paperwork here, but we took the other one and used it to kind of tie down that longer cord so that it stays down and out of the way. Now with this side, you're going to be using actually your Tinker Crate box as your area to do your punch throughs. They gave you a few components here to use. They used a little push pin, and that's going to be, of course, to push down through everything. And then we've got a white crayon to draw your lines for your constellations. And then we've got some other stuff here that we'll use in just a little bit. Alright, well, why don't you go ahead and pick out one of your constellations, whichever one you want to make. The first one. So now that he's got everything lined up on there, he's pushed the pins through. Hopefully he can see where he pushed everything through. And he can start tracing the lines out, or making the circles at least for where the lines are at. Or where the stars are at. Alright, well, he's got those all drawn out and everything, and as you can see here, he's got a representation here of Orion, And, you know, a lot of these areas are the different points of where the stars are going to be. So we'll go ahead and keep moving along here. We'll set this off to the back over here to the side. And now what it says to do is you're going to take and use your fiber optic cables here. You'll take those and feed those down through so that the end of the fiber optic cable is just right at the front edge here. You feed it through from the front, that way you can actually see where you're putting it. Alright, well, it looks like he's got them all pulled out and set to where he needs them to go. We're going to go ahead and set our little card here off to the side. Of course, this can be used over and over again if you have multiple pieces of these and you know, you want to reuse your fiber optics or anything like that, or if you get some more. Of course, there's lots of extra here so that you can make, for that second panel, you can make another one, possibly even enough to make a third or a fourth one, depending on how many stars there are. So we'll set this aside. Looks like he's going to need the glue here. We've got a little glue pen. Yep. And just put a little dab of glue here at the back end of each one of these little fiber optic cords. Now, he's got all these glued up. You can see all the little white dots right there. And according to the instructions, we're supposed to let the glue sit for about 2 hours. All right, everybody. Well, we're back, and we've given it that time to let the glue dry there. You can see how it's not that white color anymore. It does dry to a almost kind of that translucent color. Now, what we're going to do, we have a few other things here that we're looking at. Of course, we just went through to the last one here and got it glued. So now we're on this finishing steps that I had showed you before. One of the things we want to use is one of these, and obviously these are just simple little tiny zip ties. And I'll go ahead and get one started here. And then what we do is we actually bunch the group of fiber optic cables there. We actually bunch those up. And then we slide this down over top of them and cinch it. Here we go. And it's not super tight right now. We can still slide that a little bit. I did that kind of on purpose because, well, here in the instructions, they want us to go ahead and we'll get it close to the end. But they want us to go ahead and take some of that glue that we used here before. We're actually going to put it around on either side of the zip strip there. Just so you know, just because the glue's there doesn't mean it's going to inhibit the light passing through, because the light actually passes through the inside of each one of these wires. And since the glue's on the outside of the wire, it's not going to change anything at all. Now, the next thing it wants us to do now that we've got it zip tied in there is it wants you to cut the ends off so that they're all at the same length, or they all end at the same point. Now, the next thing we want to do is take and we're going to take the end of the wire here, or the end of the fiber optic cords there. And yeah, do you want to cut that too? That's something else we'll go ahead and do, is cut that before we. There we go. I'll pick that up a little bit later. But it shows us feeding it through, and we feed it through the end of the box, and it goes through these little fold-up pieces that he had. So it's going to come up through here, and then it's going to feed back to where the light is, so that it's right in front of the light. So when the light lights up, it's going to hit right at the back end of all of these. So why don't you go ahead and try and do that? I'll let you kind of mess with it to do that part. Alright, so he's got that in there. And then as you can see, we've got this extra piece here where it tells us to, actually this is where we're going to take and fold it. So we'll fold the sides in like this. And the little knockouts here, of course, correspond to the standoffs that we have in here. Each one of those is kind of surround things. And then you've got this one here, which should line up for where the cords come in here. Help me. Should we line that up? Is that lined up there? Mm-hmm. Okay. Right there. There we go. And then what it says is that we can take the piece right here. Now, I don't know. Yeah, we actually lined that up the right way. I didn't think we did. Mm-hmm. Put it right there. All right, so now there's your stand. So just like it shows on the instructions here, it's standing up. Well, now we've got this turned up, and you can see all the cords coming through. When you turn it around the other way, you don't see all that stuff. All you get to see is that area. Now go ahead and turn it on. Let them see what it looks like. And there you go. So now we've got this one, and this one is Orion. Is that the one you picked again? Okay, so you're looking at Orion. You might even be able to take that out and turn it on its side so he's standing up.
Okay.
I'm going to try that. Just be careful, yeah. There we go. So now, since we're doing Orion, you want to have him standing up. You can do it long ways, and this foam is just big enough. It does twist the fiber optics there, but as long as you don't kink them and actually crimp the end, crimp them somewhere in the end, actually cause a fold or a crease, they can be manipulated like this, turned and kind of twisted and things like that, and it won't hurt anything. Because the light will still travel through the fiber optic strands there. But there you go. This is pretty cool. I think I had a little bit of a fun time kind of figuring this out. What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of a neat thing. It lets kids kind of look at and deal with the astronomy and everything like that. It gets you looking at the stars and the constellations and things like that. Gets people interested into the sky and the planets and all the different things kind of out there in the universe and everything. It gives you a little starter right there. But anyhow, don't forget, of course, there is that other piece there, and you can always buy more of these, and you may actually be able to buy some of the fiber optic cords yourself as well. And that's basically all you need is just some more fiber optic cords and maybe a few more of these, and you can actually make every single one of the examples that they have in terms of the different constellations. But I think we're going to go ahead and finish it off right here. That's basically the end of building it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this. We had a good time, I think, kind of putting it together and going through it and everything. It is kind of cool. I like working with my buddy Banjo here and kind of, building stuff and figuring some stuff out and everything, and it's a good time. I definitely suggest it for you and your kids, or if you are a kid, you and your parents. So I will say this. This is Cougar from World of Me. This has been the Kiwi's Tinker Crate series. If you guys like this, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button down there. And there's also that subscribe button down there. When you go down there and hit the description section there is going to be the link to the Tinker Crate and the Kiwi Crate website and everything. And also, if you go down just a little bit further in that description section, you'll also see our social media. And go ahead and check those out. You'll see lots of different stuff. You'll see when we're going to have some new stuff out. We've got some other videos and other openings and things like that. So definitely go check those things out and see, what's going on with World of Me. And, I will see you guys later and have a good day. Bye.